Welcome to Fangirl Diaries. This is your fangirl host with the most, Danny, and let's get into today's entry. So it's really funny that we're recording this today because the first of many, many nominations to come for this movie and others. I guess movie film award season has started. The Critics' Choice Awards nominations came out. I only know this because one of the K-pop Demon Hunter girls posted about it. And now I'm rushing to see what else got nominated. So we're going to do Wicked for Good today. It's been out now 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks by the time you guys hear this, probably a month. I finally got to see it this past weekend with my mom because we saw the first one together and I cried. So I'm excited to do this episode, but why don't I, before we start, read off the nominations that the film got, right? So Wicked for Good has been nominated for Best Picture, it didn't get Best Actress. Oh, that's insane. I assumed at least Ariana would get one. Okay, let's see. Did anyone get supporting? No. They put her as supporting actress. Actually, you know what? That makes sense for Glinda because I'll talk about the Tony stuff in a minute because I do want to talk about that. So she got nominated for Best Supporting Actress. But they didn't nominate Cynthia. That's kind of fucked up. Let's see. What else did it get nominated for? It didn't get Best Adapted Screenplay. That's crazy because it is an adaptation. It did get Best Casting and Ensemble. Best Production Design. Costume Design, which I agree 100%. We'll talk about it. Best Hair and Makeup. Sorry if I'm hesitating because I'm reading this list now. It did get, I saw it earlier, Best Song for The Girl in the Bubble. And then, now it's in TV. So yeah, so I got a couple awards. Good for Ariana for getting Best Supporting. Crazy they didn't get Cynthia Erivo for Best Actress. I really hope this isn't the start of only Ariana getting nominated. Because fun fact, so for those who don't know, when the Tony Awards happened back in 2003, right? For some reason, they put Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel for Best Leading Actress for Wicked. And while I understand that Glinda's part in the series, in the musical, is really big, I feel like Glinda is more of a supporting character. She has a big part, but it is Elphaba's story mainly because that's the one we put the most focus in. And I don't know who's nominated for Best Supporting, but I feel like Kristen Chenoweth would have got it had she been nominated for Best Supporting. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who has said that before, but that's not here nor there. The past is the past. She has a Tony. Kristen won it for You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown years ago, and Idina had only at that point been nominated for Rent. So for her getting it for Wicked, I think makes sense. But yeah, congrats for Wicked for getting nominated. And Sinners. Sinners was getting a lot. We really gotta do an episode on Sinners. I gotta rewatch that shit. It was good. But yeah, we're gonna do Wicked for Good. Woo! That scared me. So before I get into all the nitty gritty, because I feel like this is the one episode where the last time we spoke about this movie, it was the first part, and because I got to rewatch it, I had a lot to say, and this is kind of I had to play by memory because I watched it. Did it affect it really badly when I did that? I'm sorry. Keep it in. I watched this Thanksgiving night, by the way, so it's been 2 weeks, kind of, since we're recording this, and I had 3 plates of food, a lot of turkey. So I was awake. I was more awake than my mom. So a lot of that I'm going to be talking about today is going to be from memory, but the one thing I wanted to start off after the synopsis is kind of the semi-controversy on casting choice that kind of happened when the first film came out. This kind of bled over now as someone who is a fan of both, who is a fan of the original stage production. But let's just get to synopsis-wise. Now demonized as the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba lives in exile in the Ozian forest, while Glinda resides at the palace in the Emerald City, reveling shine in the perks of fame and popularity. As an angry mob rises against the Wicked Witch, she needs to reunite with Glinda to transform herself and all of Oz for good. Ooh. Anyway, so this I feel like for fans, maybe I'm wrong. I feel like so the whole movie in itself was highly anticipated. This was a film, and I think I said it last time, that has been in development, I think, since like the 5th anniversary of the musical. I can't really remember. Actually, funny enough, this was originally developed as a film way before it was turned into a musical. I don't remember who had the rights, but some famous celebrity had the rights to this. Yeah, they were going to make it into a movie. Well, they were going to make the book into a movie, and then it just fell through, and then they turned it into a musical. But at least for me, For Good was highly anticipated because it has some of the like Act 2 has always kind of been seen as like not the strongest of the two acts. But it has like the big number For Good, and there's some songs in it that I know are really highly like beloved in the series, like March of the Witch Hunters. And then out of all the songs that I think I was most excited for is that we were finally getting a recorded of Wicked Witch of the East, which is a song from the musical that has never been recorded. I don't know why. It's like a 30-second number, like not even a minute, Nessa Rose singing. And it never made sense. People were like, oh, it's because it spoils a lot. And I'm like, it's a fucking musical soundtrack. It's going to spoil things regardless. It doesn't make any sense. We know she's the Wicked Witch of the West. We know that Bach is a Tin Man because he has a fucking song where he literally talks about being the Tin Man. It talks about like having had this done to him. It's really fucking stupid that we never got a proper recording. So, I obviously waited a couple of days to see this because I wanted to wait for my mom. And I was seeing a lot of the discourse, and I was seeing basically a lot of what was going on. And the one thing I have to agree with everyone, and I am not diminishing her as an actress, and I think I talked about this last time, and I have to push this out more. I do not understand why Michelle Yeoh was casted as a Madame Marble. I don't care if Cynthia and Ariana wanted her. I don't care if John Chu wanted her. I think she's a fantastic actress. I think she plays the role really well. But the singing, and she knows she's not a good singer, it makes no sense. She has lines in songs like Thank Goodness that like it takes you out of it. I was like, what the hell? Like, I watched that scene and I was so frustrated because I love Thank Goodness. It's such a good number. It's a Glinda song. She comes in and it's kind of showing you where she's at in the Emerald City, how she's regarded as this figure. And like, I was already getting mad hearing that they cut out a lot from that scene. And it doesn't look right when you watch the scene in general. And it just threw me off because I'm like, I don't understand why you guys couldn't just hire someone who is an actual singer. Like, Madame Marble's been played by like popular actresses before. Like we talked about from Abbott Elementary. Sherry Lee Ralph, she had played Madame Marble. And she'd been, I think she went to the red carpet for the first movie because they invited a lot of former cast members. And I don't understand why she wasn't casted. Because, like, I would have paid top dollar for a recording of her doing it. Again, there were so many ways I could have done this. But I digress. It was just, it pissed me off. Like, here's the thing. Jeff Goldblum, I can give a pass because Joel Grey, when you hear him saying this, I'm not saying he's a bad singer, but he's got that roughness to his voice as an old man that it kind of makes sense. And it works with Jeff Goldblum's voice. And he's got, like, 2 songs. And, like, again, it doesn't matter much for Michelle Yeoh. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter with Jeff Goldblum. I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't bother me as much with Jeff Goldblum because it just works for the character, as opposed for Madame Marble, where I feel like they really should have gotten someone else to sing it. And that was frustrating. I also want to bring this up now. I saw there's a lot of discourse of like Wicked Witch of the East not being good, and that scared the crap out of me. But like when I heard it in the theater, I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. Y'all exaggerated. Like, Homegirl can sing decent. Like she can do the part. It's not a heavy sung part. Like, it was fine. Everyone was good. I thought people were like, oh, they botched it, they ruined it. And I was like, this is exactly how it said in the musical. The fuck? It's not that bad. But I digress. So I just kind of wanted to bring that tidbit up because it really fucking frustrated me. I was kind of getting really sick and tired of like hearing about it and then hearing it. It just destroyed me because I really was looking forward to this soundtrack. And I'm literally making a playlist of like songs from the actual cast recording and then the film soundtrack to kind of be like, okay, for this version, I like this song and I'm going to have this song. Because like I like Dancing Through Life in the musical. I prefer the version in the film. For Good, I feel like I have to listen to both of them because I feel like I cried during both of them, like both the musical and in the film. And I bawled a lot, but I feel like it's because I was being emotional and I was really tired and heavy, like full on turkey. I had a lot of turkey. So, yeah, I will agree with everyone. Ariana Grande really needs to win a bunch of awards. She was amazing in this. She was funny, emotional. I was so mad for her when Fierro left. It was just one of those things where I could not, like, I haven't watched any of the other films that are potentially, like, potential for, like, Oscar nominations because I feel like a lot of those films you really rarely see. I don't know. But I really hope she gets it. I really hope. I don't know how strong competition is, but I hope she wins something because she deserves something for this. Cynthia the Revo was great. I will say I do hate that I feel like this was a very, like, Act 2, I feel like in the musical is very much split in terms of heaviness, in terms of both girls. I do agree this felt like a really heavy Glinda movie. And I wish I had seen these back to back because I wonder if Wicked felt like more of an Elphaba heavy movie. But I can't remember. But yeah, I'll give it to Ariana. She was fantastic. Definitely a Glinda for the ages. She did all the Glindas proud. That being said, I want to go into like some of the small details in terms of like production and stuff that I remember, and then I'll talk more about the other actors. Like, thank goodness, I'm going back to that number. I don't understand what happened and how often they were editing this stuff. Like, I know some films, you know, they may be editing up until like before the first premiere because thank goodness had more like scenes like on a train, on like more outfits. Like there's literally a whole pink and green number that they cut out and I don't understand why. And it made me frustrated because and I'm going to keep referring back to the musical because I have to. She's wearing this really adorable green number because she's in the Emerald City and she's embracing that she's in the Emerald City. I don't mind if they had put Glinda in pink for the scene, but to put her in her basically Good Witch dress, her main dress, was boring. Like, she had so many outfit changes in the musical that I'm like, why are we keeping her in this dress? Like, she changed, like, she had this really pink, pretty number for the opening number, No One Mourns the Wicked, which I love they added, like, a whole callback to the part in, oh my God, what is the song called? Oh my God, what is the song called? It's literally one of my favorite songs from Wicked, and I can't remember. Oh, What Is This Feeling? With the Dear Glinda, and they redo that in the opening from No One Mourns the Wicked. I love that they did that, kind of added a little more. And she has like this really cute pink number. It's very like Office, and she's twirling around, and it's giving witchy like, I'm, you know, working the office, whatever, being a good, you know, role model, whatever. And it's so cute. And I wish they would have given her more outfits. It really peeved me off that we didn't get her more outfits. Like, we got her in the wedding dress. That wedding dress was beautiful. But, like, I wanted more for thank goodness. I guess we should talk more on costume design. The outfits in this, again, 10 out of 10. I really can't talk too much because both films were done back to back. Like, we were seeing images from Wicked for Good way before Wicked came out. Like, I remember seeing the scene from Thank Goodness when they announced the engagement way before Wicked came out because, again, it was done back to back. So, kind of like in the first movie, the outfits are top notch. I will give them this. I do like that we get to see a little bit more of the Munchkin city now that Nessa Rose is the governess. And I like that we see more of her and Bach because it is a quick scene in the musical, which is why it was always so frustrating that Wicked Witch of the East was cut. We get a few minutes more of her because we see that, like, Buck finds out that Glinda's getting married and decides to leave. And then it kind of is a commentary to what's going on now, is that she forbids animals and munchkins from leaving Munchkinland because she wants to trap Buck. And, like, you see a family of munchkins get thrown off of the Emerald Train. It's crazy. So, obviously, the point in Wicked is that Elphaba is trying to bring, you know, save the animals, give them their rights back, give them their ability to speak up, right? And that's what we're losing here in our country. We're losing the ability to like speak up over certain things, and we're having people bully us. And the Munchkins become part of that because she doesn't allow them to leave Munchkinland. She forces them back in. And Nessa has become kind of like a dictator. So again, it's all roles there. Musicals have always been political. So Bach returns back to Nessa, and he's kind of in more of a grayish outfit. And I love that he's going to become the Tin Man because it is such a Tin Man type outfit. And the way that the makeup and the outfit is done for the Tin Man, I think is 10 out of 10 because he does later on during March of the Witch Hunters when he looks angry at Glinda, it is very menacing. It is very much like, oh shit, like she fucked up. They all fucked. Like they're all like, it was crazy. But like, yeah, it's funny that you laughed at it, but that is really what Wicked is. It is not about like the underlying story is not about like immigration or anything, but like when you kind of look at what is happening to the animals in the film, unfortunately the animals are, because at one point we see them actually, funny enough, before I go back into Bach and everything, going through a tunnel. They're about to leave back into like this empty void because they're afraid of what might happen to them. So it does feel like they're talking a lot about, what's going on now. And when you look at it, yeah, the Emerald City guards are supposed to be like the police who are supposed to be the good guys, and it turns out they're bad guys. Not that ICE was ever the good guys, but you know what I mean. It is crazy. Musicals have always been political, though. You can't really go to a musical without there being some type of politics in it, in one way or another. Even like the kid ones are also very much political, because that's what art is and always will be. So, but yeah, to go back to the outfits, I'm going all over the place. It is a movie. Bach was really well done outfit wise. The Emerald City Guards, Fangirl looks so good. I do think it's funny that during As Long As You're Mine, it does look like she's wearing lingerie, and I do agree with everyone. Did the animals in the forest make her lingerie? I don't know, but it's kind of funny if they did. It does look like it because she's wearing like a very specific outfit. Like, where would she get it? Where would she get it? So, visual-wise, everything is beautifully done. I feel like they could have done better, and this was kind of shocking to me because the Tin Man, they did really well, and I really would love to know how much of that is makeup and how much of that is CGI. The Scarecrow, though, could have been better. It just felt really CGI to me, and I don't want to hear anyone say, like, well, they couldn't have blah, 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 when, like, The Wizard of Oz originally was all makeup, and they do that look on stage 8 times a week on Broadway. I just feel like that could have been a little bit better, but I digress. I think it was still well done. I do like that they hid what he was going to look like until the end. Like, we know what he was going to look like, but, like, we knew he was going to be the Scarecrow because it kind of gets spoiled, like, pretty easily on, but I'm glad that, like, they still kept it hidden. And that we didn't see Dorothy's face. I know some people were kind of surprised, but like in the musical, we don't see Dorothy at all. We do see a lot of her back, or we really see her shadow. We don't really see her. We only ever see her shadow. We hear her. Like at one point when it's a scene right before For Good and Elphaba's yelling in the cellar, that's as much as you will ever hear Dorothy in the musical. So I think that was a good choice. We do see her when the monkeys grab her, and I do think it's kind of funny that like knowing who we know, who the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow are, the fact that like Bach was really trying to protect her and all that, I just think that was handled really well. Oh, speaking of the Cowardly Lion, I didn't understand why they had to why they did a celebrity voice for the Cowardly Lion. They did. Lily, you can ask out loud. Say it. Go ahead.
Who was it?
Wow. 10 out of 10. I have to look it up. It was, oh God, who was it? Oh my God. Coleman Domingo, is that what it says? He is a celebrity act. Like, this is technically, he was on Broadway in summer. The Donna. Oh, he wrote the book for that. Amazing. Oh, I've probably seen him in Scottsboro Boys. So he was been in stuff like Sing Street, The Color Purple, Zola, Selma. There's a bunch of movies. He was apparently in Euphoria, and he was in The Walking Dead.
Domingo.
Yeah. But technically this is like a name person for the Cowardly Lion. I want to point out the Cowardly Lion had like maybe 2 or 3 lines. He does not sing. Not only that, it's like 2 seconds. I don't understand. And the only reason I say that why they got a name is because like he was advertising the film while advertising like another project he was in. But on top of that, it was like they made a big deal about it, like the red carpets and stuff. And I'm like, dude, he's barely in it for 2 seconds. He barely speaks. You could have gotten nearly anybody. Hell, you could have paid someone to do an impression of the original Caroline and it would have worked. I just didn't understand that. I was like, whatever. It's not like a big thing. I just thought it was like kind of whatever.
Rocket came down in a bubble. Wicked Witch to the east, bro.
Glinda's the witch of the south.
No, that's how the meme goes.
She's the witch of the south.
I know, but that's how the meme
What
goes.
meme?
You ever seen it where the two guys are arguing?
Oh, her sister was a princess, which made no sense because that was not his sister. Her sister. It was funny because they were still wrong. Yeah, no, Glinda's
down in a
bubble.
Grow up. Wicked Witch to the east, bro.
It's funny because east is Glinda and there's a north. It's Nessa.
It's all wrong.
It's like not even right. Speaking of bubble, I like the technology for the bubble machine. Tap to bubble. Someone made a keychain of it and I want it. It's so cute. I think what's also great about this, by the way, so they had they do delve into Glinda's backstory a little bit of like, and delve in the fact that she's not magical. She really, well, maybe until the end at least, she doesn't really have magical powers. But there is a whole scene where they show her as a little girl and she's always wanted to be magical. Like she gets a wand for her birthday and all her friends are telling her to do magic and she's not able to do it. Like a rainbow appears. She's able to pretend that she can do magic. FYI, the little girl who played young Glinda was Puerto Rican. She was. I was like, win for us. We did it. I just thought it was so cute, but I do like, I also, set design wise, wanted Glinda's apartment. It was so pretty. It was so like, it was so Glinda and all her outfits. I wanted all of her clothes. I'm dying to one day afford like to cosplay one of her outfits. It was so good. So I guess I'll go through some more of the track list because that'll give me more things to talk about. I will talk about the new tracks like last. So I can't believe I called it. No, is it not No One Mourns the Wicked? Oh my God. Me having to look. So Every Day More Wicked is what it's called on here. And I'm like, there's no way that's the song. Me looking through. Oh, so in the musical, they start off with Thanks Goodness. So that's a third new song. Did not realize. No, Every Day More Wicked. I guess they never recorded it. Oh, no. My internal dialogue. So in the musical, Thank Goodness, I believe starts with Every Day More Wicked, and it's part of Thank Goodness, whereas the movie makes it 2 different tracks. So I already spoke about those. So The Wicked Witch of the East is the next one. For a song that for the first time ever has been recorded, I thought it was pretty good. It was nothing too crazy. It's not a long song. It's a very quick scene to just show Bach turning into the Tin Man. And I will say when they do it, I appreciate that like they do it behind closed doors. It's very reminiscent of how they do it on the stage. Because in the stage musical, Elphaba, they put him behind a dresser because obviously the people who are dressing him have to like put the silver makeup on him and all this like stuff on it. So it's very reminiscent of that. We don't really get to see the transformation. And it's very cute. I will say in terms of that song in general, I appreciate in that scene in general, I appreciate that they don't make Nessa walk because in the musical, she is able to walk with the power of the ruby red slipper or the silver slippers. Whereas here, she's made to float and it makes her happy that she can glide and kind of fly a little bit, which I think is a better goal for the story. She can't do it for a long time than having the girl who can't really walk, who's wheelchair bound, and especially in real life, not, suddenly make her walk because that's a cure. Because it shouldn't be, her disability doesn't make her any less just because she can't walk or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. What do you think? Yeah. So I'm glad they changed that because a lot of people were like, how are they gonna make that work? How are they gonna make the wheelchair bound actress walk? And I'm glad they didn't just use some CGI or a double. Wonderful. I love that they added Glinda to that scene. I think it made a lot of sense. for her to have more scenes with Elphaba. I wish they hadn't spoiled it before the film came out. I wish that's something we would have found out when watching the film. But I think it 10 out of 10 added that song because I've never cared for any of the Wizard songs. I really never cared for Sentimental Man. But Wonderful, I think, was done much better here. I wish they would have done that musical. I'm Not That Girl reprise was really good. It's a very short, it's just I'm Not That Girl, but it's Glinda singing it. The Wedding, I guess in terms of talking about Wonderful and I'm Not That Girl reprise, is that what I enjoy is I haven't seen the musical in a couple of years. I think adding Glinda and having her try to convince Elphie to join them and saying that the wizard will agree, and Elphaba agreeing, and then seeing Glinda to be happy, like, oh, I'm going to get married, my best friend is back. It really shows a lot of how tragic the story ends up being when Elphaba finds out that the wizard was still lying, and then having Glinda suffer through all of that afterwards. Both of them are suffering because here is her happiest day. She's getting married. Her friend is back. And then it turns out she finds out her fiance has been in love with Elphaba the entire time. Granted, Fiyero needs to speak up for himself as well, because the entire time I want to point out, they've been together 5 years. So this is a time jump of 5 years. Yeah, you didn't know that. So time jump of 5 years. So they were technically together for 5 years. In those 5 years, Homeboy never brought up the courage to tell her, hey, I don't want to really be with you. I'm in love with your friend. Because it's always been alluded that he cared for her, because anytime they talked about Elphaba, Glinda was like, no, we just have to leave her in the past. She doesn't want to be found. And he's desperately trying to find her. But he makes it seem like he's trying to find her so that no one else will kill her when they get to her because that's their friend. And it's like, for 5 years, you kind of been stringing her along. And she's kind of like, I know she kind of was the one that's like, we're together, blah, blah, blah. But you went along with it. Have some courage. It's supposed to be the cowardly lion that's supposed to have courage. My dude, you're just not supposed to have, he doesn't have a brain. I guess it makes sense because he had no brain because he's a man. As a man of straw. But then another point that I liked from the musical was that I liked that they changed was that in the musical, spoilers for the musical, I don't know why I'm saying that now instead of like earlier, Dr. Dilliman comes back and he can't talk anymore. He's lost his ability to speak. And Elphaba finds him under a curtain, which I never understood why they suddenly just had Dr. Dilliman roaming free in the Emerald City in the castle behind a curtain where anyone could find him. Whereas in the movie, she finds him because the wizard agrees to free all the monkeys, the flying monkeys, and says that we will talk to the animals and bring them back, and we're going to talk to some diplomats who are here for the white, blah, blah, blah. And she's excited. And then the main monkey, Chestery, shows her that there are other animals still trapped in cages who have lost their ability to speak, and one of them is Dr. Dilliman. He's trapped in a cage. I think that hit harder because we're not just seeing Dr. Dilliman being trapped and not being able to speak. We're seeing every animal. And like earlier in the movie, we see Dulcibert, who was the nanny, and she's being forced out. So I think those two together really improved the story. I think it was a much better scene. Seeing the wedding, I think, was also such a good way of doing that. I'm glad we didn't just like gloss over it, because I believe in the musical Fiyero just runs off, whereas like he finds Elphaba, threatens the wizard, and runs off, and then Glinda doesn't find out that he ran off with her until after As Long As You're Mine. Whereas in this, it's before I'm Not That Girl. After the wedding is destroyed, Elphaba is telling the wizard that he's going to expose her or whatever, and the guards come, and then Glinda's there, and Fiyero threatens Glinda and tells her that he's going off with Elphaba. And I think that was much better than the musical. So, because it was heartbreaking. She sings it in the middle of her ruined wedding. And I'm like, this is so sad. It's like really sad because you really feel for her because that's her best friend. Like, her fiance is leaving her for her best friend. And she loves them both. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't think she's mad, and she's more heartbroken. And it's a lot. And I cried. I was really sad. So funny enough, I did not really care much for As Long As You're Mine, which is the big romantic number. Funny story. When I took my mom to see Wicked last year, and when I took her to see Part 2 this year, she was falling asleep throughout half the film. this woman, for some reason, she worked Thanksgiving before she came home and cooked, and I helped her, but she was falling asleep. And I kept nudging her awake. The one song I did not want her awake for was "As Long as You're Mine," because everyone was talking about how sexy it was, because it's like they technically, like, it's alluded in the music that they have sex, and this one it's alluded to again, really, that they had sex. This is the one scene she was wide awake for. She woke up, like, I didn't have to nudge her. She was wide awake for this, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Why are you awake for this one? But it's nothing to do with Cynthia Erivo or Jonathan Bailey. Maybe it's because "As Long as Your Mind" is one of those songs, like, it's not my favorite song from Wicked. It's like, I mean, if I had to list, like, love songs from Wicked, I do put it on there, but I was like, okay, it's "As Long as You're Mine." I think it was well done. We got to see more of where she was living. I'm glad that they explained her going into the castle, because it's technically Fiyero's castle afterwards. And then, oh my God, I was so happy. So, this is going to be badly phrased. We see the house fall on Nessa Rose. Because after Fiyero and Elphaba leave, before "As Long as You're Mine," there is a line of Glinda, the wizard, and Madame Morble being like, well, what do we do? And Glinda goes, start a rumor, use her sister. She'll come if she knows that her sister is in danger or something like that. And then Madame Morble, after she walks off, is like, well, a rumor isn't going to work. The wizard like, the rumor's not going to work. And Madame Morble, because she controls the weather, she's the reason why Dorothy comes. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, she's the reason why Dorothy comes.
Wow.
So enthusiastic. 10 out of 10. I hope the audio caught that. So we actually see the house fall on Nessa. Or we don't see it like fully fall on her, but she's still in her wheelchair trying to look for Bach after he's run off as the Tin Man. Because by that point he would have run off into the forest to where Dorothy will find him later. And then we see her wheelchair, her in her wheelchair rolling into Munchkinland as the wind is blowing, and then the house falls on her. We don't fully see it, and then it cuts to our first scene with Dorothy, with Glinda waving Dorothy and Toto, or as she calls him, Dodo. She goes, "Bye, Dorothy. Bye, Dodo." Off to the Emerald City, and we don't see her face. Really funny though. I think it's crazy that she has a train. There's a train to the Emerald City from Munchkinland, and they just don't have Dorothy use it because fuck it, right?
Plot got a plot.
Plot got a plot. You got that right. And then she sees that it's Nessa Rose. She mourns down, like, because again, Nessa was evil, I will say, for what she did to the Munchkins, but it's very clear that she was raised in such a way that, like, God, if they had maybe treated Elphaba right, if her family wasn't as cruel to one daughter, maybe she wouldn't have turned out the way she was. Because there was such high expectations from Elphaba to always be there for Nessa, and Nessa was always the woe is me character because she's trapped in this chair, because that's the storyline, is that she's trapped and not like the other girls, because deep down inside she does blame Elphaba for that. Because after Elphaba is born, her father forces her mother to, like, eat these flowers so that Nessa wouldn't come out green, and it causes her to come out with, like, and it's described in the book, and I think in the musical, she comes out of her mother's room with twisted legs. That's how they describe it. So it was inevitable that she was going to become the way that she was. But I don't think she was fully wicked. I think there was a few things she did, but it was such under influence of, like, not having anyone there for her anymore. When it used to be her sister and it used to be her father, and now both of them are gone and she's left with nobody. But this one boy who claimed that he really liked her. And while he wasn't really playing her, because it was really clear that he kind of really liked her as a friend, he also didn't speak up and say, like, I'm actually in love with Glinda. He kept saying, oh, you're beautiful, and not making it clear that, like, hey, I like you as a friend. That's on Bach. So they do the witch fight. Oh my God. In the musical, there's a scene where they fight with wands. And I was really hoping they did this. They had Ariana spin the wand. Like, she literally like flipped the wand around like she's about to, like, judo fight her. It's like funniest fucking scene. I loved it in the musical. I was so happy when they did it in the film. I jumped up when they did it. I was so excited. And then this is where Fiyero comes back in. And so here's my issue with this part in the timeline. And this has always bothered me, even watching the musical. So by this point, Dorothy has started walking the Yellow Brick Road. We don't know time-wise between Munchkinland and the cornfield how long it takes for her to meet the Scarecrow. That whole scene happens in the matter of like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It takes forever for him to become the Scarecrow. I want to point out No Good Deed is the song that plays. No Good Deed's a 4-minute song. So mind you, this is happening in 10 minutes. That they take Fierro and start beating him in the cornfield. And then Elphaba uses her magical powers because of Scarecrow. How long did it fucking take Dorothy to get to that cornfield? Homegirl was walking slow. Like, I know she's wearing heels, but it couldn't have been that far. They're taking him from Munchkinland to that cornfield as well. And they were behind her. Like, she was way ahead. That was crazy to me. I will say the one downside is that in No Good Deed, they take away Elphaba screaming Fierro. They don't fully take it away because I'm pretty sure we're supposed to count Ariana screaming Fierro when he's taken away as it, because in the musical, we go from Glinda screaming it and then it transitions to Elphaba screaming it before she starts singing No Good Deed. No Good Deed was done really well. I enjoyed it. I like the visuals of it. Fantastic. March of the Wind Hunters, the one gripe that I had with that song is that and I saw some people being also equally as annoyed that they took this out, and some people were screaming and starting to sing along. In March of the Witch Hunters, there is someone in the background, one of the Munchkins screams, "Good fortune, witch hunter." And it's like iconic because when you're hearing it, it's noticeable, but it like fits with the song. And you're kind of just, if you're a fan of the musical, you're kind of waiting for it, and it never comes. And it makes me so mad that every time I hear the one from the musical, from the movie, I actually am saying it in my head. So that scene is another good way that they kind of hid Dorothy and the Scarecrow, because by this point, the four are at the Emerald City, and they've met with the wizard, and they're about to head off. And then I think that's when Glinda realizes that Bach is the Tin Man, because that's like his song. Saps to Ethan Slater, you really showed off with your SpongeBob ness that you could do this, because people were having doubts. People were nervous that he was not going to do this well, and he did. And I'm proud of him, despite everything that went down, which we won't really talk about here. But if you know, you know. If you know, you know. And then For Good, I cried. I could not. I always cry when I hear For Good, so that song made me cry. And I have not much to say. It was really emotional. My mom cried. She got super emotional during it. I was surprised. So that's all I had to say for Good. I guess I should talk about the two songs that were added. No Place Like Home, I don't remember it that well. It is the song where Elphaba basically is singing to all the animals and is like, "This is our home, blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't have to leave it." Like, because we get to reunite, they reunite her with Dulcibert, which was her nanny, who was maybe the only one that actually cared about her when she was younger. And even the bear asked her, why are you staying? They don't care about you. And she's like, because this is my home. Which is a lot to a lot of people. Like, you know, when you've been somewhere for so long, you don't want to leave it because it's where you know best. And it gets cut off by the Cowardly Lion yelling and saying, "Don't trust her. She's the reason why all this is happening." And I'm just like, yo, not so cowardly there. If you talk big, the snitch. So that was a good one. Girl in the Bubble. So a couple weeks before Wicked for Good came out, the record label or whatever that is distributing the soundtrack did a thing in Hudson Yard where they put a bubble there with a chair, and then you could go in and sit and actually listen to a preview of the song. And I really liked Girl in the Bubble. That's the one that I picked. I wish I would have been able to done two because I was with my cousin, but they only let us pick one, which I get because it was a line. And the thing kept messing up. Like, the thing was breaking. Like, they had to do it first twice. And the unfortunate thing is, like, while I like the song and I think it fits Glinda's story well, I'm glad that they didn't just end it with "I'm not that girl." They kind of explained that Glinda is going through something because she is now this figure. She's now had to betray her friend. She's getting everything she wants, but, like, also at what cost? When she knows she's not magical, but this is also the only way she can do what she's got to do, right? It is such an Oscar bait song, though. That's the unfortunate part about it. Is because this and No Place Like Home were always going to be the Oscar baits for best song because it's a musical. There's already a musical. It has songs in it. Every time you do a musical, they're always going to write an extra song or add a song that maybe was supposed to be in it so they could use it for the Oscars. And between No Place Like Home and Girl in the Bubble, the Girl in the Bubble was the Oscar bait song. We see it that it's the song that got nominated for the Critics' Choice Awards. It's going to get nominated for Best Original Song at the Oscars. And I'm 100% that's going to happen. I would be very surprised if we don't get a nomination for one of these songs from Wicked. It's not going to win because it's going to go to Golden. But I appreciate it for what it is. It shows off Ariana's singing abilities and everything. It really shows off the emotion. I would love it if they could get some of the former Glindas or even the current active Glindas on Broadway, the West End, a couple of them to actually do a rendition of this song. Because for the anniversary a couple years back, they got a bunch of the former Glindas, including mine, to together sing Popular. And I think it would be such a good way for to have like a couple of them get together and sing Girl in the Bubble. I think it would be nice if they could get some of them to cut together and sing Girl in the Bubble. I don't know how they would do that, but I think it would be nice. Get like Carol Lindsay, get Allie, get maybe not Kristen Chenoweth, but that's not here nor there right now. Maybe not Kristen, but get some of them. Get some of the West End ones. It'd be so good. I feel like that would be so much fun. So I'm like trying to figure out if there's anything else I need to mention. I know they announced that they're going to make a third one. Why? I don't know. There is, I will say, in terms of the books, there's 6 of them. There's 6 books. It's Wicked, Son of the Witch. Can't remember the other names because they're sequels. There are sequels. Because in the ending of Wicked, spoilers, Elphaba is alive. She just runs off with Fiyero, and they leave Oz. In the books, though, she dies eventually because she has a son with Fiyero. And I'm going to point out the funny thing about the contrast between the musical and the books is that the books are, there's a lot that happens in the books that don't translate family friendly into the musical. Like, technically Fiyero is married in the books. He's married, so he's a prince, and he is arranged marriage with a princess from another kingdom. And once he reaches a certain age, they do get married and they have kids. And then he has an affair with Elphaba later on, and they have a kid. Which, by the way, affairs and all that, totally normal in Oz, because the Munchkin governor's wife did it, obviously with the wizard, or who she later discovers is the wizard. And then, like, apparently Nessa Rose might not be the governor's daughter either, because she had an affair with another man who the Munchkin governor also had an affair with. There's like a whole lot of stuff that's going on. These books are not family friendly. So it's a lot. So I don't know how they're going to do a third one where the third book is basically following Elphaba's son. And, like, Glinda, I guess she gets powers. I don't remember. I've never read the books past, like, the first one. I have to reread the first book because it's been years. I will say, funny enough, the whole, like, her being allergic to water is a thing in the book because she washes herself with oil. And in the musical, it's just a rumor. So, I don't know. I don't know. That's, like, a question for Gregory Maguire, I guess. But apparently they are. You know what it is? Universal really wants to bank on this and being like the next big franchise, but I don't know how you could do that when the musical only has one musical and then the other books, for the most part, are very adult books. I think Gregory Maguire has is writing 2 prequel novels. One came out that's about Elphaba. The other one is going to be about Glinda. I don't know if those are family friendly. I think I read that one of them it's like a preteen novel, but I don't know how true that is. So I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to open like a Glinda-esque thing at like Epic Universe or something. Because the meet and greets for those characters are going nuts. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should talk about. I mean, like, overall, it wasn't like a bad film. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it was a good conclusion. Oh, you know what I should talk about? I don't have much to say about this. I really want to understand why everyone is calling Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande creepy for the interviews. And they're like, some people are like, oh, it's a theater kid thing or whatever. I just think they're very affectionate towards each other. I want to point out, I don't know when these interviews are recorded, but she was attacked during one of the premieres. If we forget, Ariana By the way, that man was fucking crazy. He's been banned from Singapore. He was deported back to, I think, Australia, and he was banned. And there were videos. So for those who don't know, they did the premiere in Singapore a couple weeks back. You should know at this point. And some fucking crazy fucker who apparently has done this before ran up and grabbed onto Ariana Grande, and she had a full-blown panic attack. Why? Because I feel like people keep forgetting that one of her concerts, some terrorists like attacked her concert and killed a bunch of people, a bunch of her fans, a bunch of kids. So that's traumatizing because it's her concert, and you know, it's traumatizing for everyone, but it affected her really poorly. She almost gave up singing. I think she said in an interview once that she didn't know if she could do it ever again. So it's not surprising that like an event like that may have spooked her. And when you're working with like, I'm pretty sure these films were done back to back in a span of 2 years. That's a long time to be working with someone like really close, because again, they have to be really close in this film because it's a really close friendship. So I'm not surprised if Cynthia Erivo is very close to her. There was a video that talked about this. It is kind of crazy how it's kind of getting almost semi-racist towards Cynthia, how she's basically being very motherly, but they're attacking the black woman for having affectionate for someone else, very close like. And like when you see the videos making fun of them, a lot of times it's like men portraying her like in a really weird kind of borderline offensive way. And then it's like maybe not racist but misogynistic, maybe it's a better word. But I think there were some people talking about how like it is kind of borderline on racism. I see nothing wrong with those interviews. It's just how they are. They're affectionate. I know people point out that they're very skinny. I think Ariana's always been like that. I'm not, because here's the thing, you're never gonna find me going and accusing someone of being anorexic or doing this and that, because the last 2 times like people went down a celebrity for that, both of them died. And it was Chadwick Boseman. Everyone thought he looked way too skinny. Oh, he looks sickly. Oh, what's wrong with him? Is he doing drugs? And then he had cancer, and then he died. And then suddenly everyone was so sad. And then when did it happen again? With Michelle Trachtenberg last year. I not kept up with her much besides like seeing her here and there. But the amount of times that after she passed away, I saw photos and comments of people saying that she was anorexic, she was doing drugs. And I don't remember if it was kidney failure or what it was, but she was sick and she died. And it's fucked up. I'm not saying that Ariana and Cynthia Erivo have some disease or are going to die soon if you keep making fun of them for it. But, like, can we please be mindful about when we talk about shit like this? Because you don't know what someone's going through. God forbid. Like, it's disgusting. And it's ridiculous. And I just, get over yourself. It's whatever. It's over. They're going to do a couple of interviews here and there for award season. And it's done. We need to stop harping on this. It's not weird. They're just very close. And it was ridiculous. Anyway, do you have anything to... Because you sent me these videos, remember? Mm-hmm. Do you want to add anything?
No.
Did you see Wicked?
No.
Shame.
Sorry.
I just spoiled the whole thing for you, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. The musical's 25 years old anyway. Song of the week?
Yay!
That's the loudest you'll ever hear Lilia. It really bumped up, too, on the thing. So I'm going to make a girl in the bubble. I really liked it, and it's very different. I know last week I did popular, but the Glinda songs have always been my favorite. So for this week, we're going to do one of the new songs, the original songs, and I'm going to pick Girl in the Bubble. So yeah, that's kind of everything I have to say. I think this episode is coming out the week before Christmas. Yeah, the Girl in the Bubble. So happy holidays if you are celebrating a holiday that's not Christmas. And see you in the next one. Bye. All right, guys, that's it for this entry. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts. On Twitter, you can find us at FG Diaries Pod. On Tumblr, TikTok, and Instagram, you'll find us at FG Diaries Podcast. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hope you all have a wonderful fangirly day.